Welcome, welcome, dear friends, to tonight's launch. We are ready to go live. This is the Retirement Income TV, and my name is Feintola Onogorua, your friend and sister and coach. This is Coach FO. Welcome to tonight's meeting. Please let's chat together. Let me know if you are here live. Let me know if you are here live. It's a very well anticipated show tonight. It's something I love to talk about, and I can see the need to talk more about this because a lot of people are missing their retirement ages, and it should not happen like that. And I'll start by letting you know what happened to me. Why am I passionate about the future? How, what happened? What transformed my life, my thoughts towards talking to people about planning for their retirement age? If you are here and you can hear me, please type in the chat room. Please chat with me if you can hear me in the chat room. Please let me see your chat if you can hear me. Please let me see your chat if you are with me here live, because I want you to be here and let's get the fire together. So welcome, and this is our first episode on the Retirement Income TV. And I'll start by telling you my story. Why did I think of this? Why is there a need for this? Why do we need to create awareness about our retirement? When I was 13, my mom fell ill. She was diagnosed to have diabetes. And because of that ailment, the lot fell on me. I was in Form 3. The lot fell on me to nurture her, to nurse her, to take care of her on admission. And so I was exposed to the fact that people can fall ill, people can be sick. And so, for the next 3 years, we were nurturing her, sometimes on admission, sometimes out of admission. And then I observed, I was the one that the doctor had to explain her new diet our diet adjustment to. He explained it to me. She has to stop eating these ones. She has to take Lipton without milk, without sugar. She has to stop eating bread. Then there was no wheat bread. And so we had to be doing lots of beans, lots of moi moi, and all of that. And so I observed my mom, lose weight, and the illness, of course, took a toll on her work. So at the end of about 3 years of being in and out of hospital, I think it was her head teacher that actually advised her to maybe retire. So at 52, my mom had to do what we call voluntary retirement. And so she retired, she was at home, and then 6 months later, I gained admission already into the School of Nursing. I was 16. By the time I had spent 6 years, we had what we call the PTS break. There's always an exam after the first 6 months. And so we were given a 2 weeks break where I went home. On getting home, her left leg was swollen. Apparently, she had had high blood pressure, which is a complication of the diabetes, and we did not know. And so, by the time I got her to the hospital, she was admitted again, and we were there for exactly from Monday. I think we took her in on Monday. She passed on Friday. So all through those 5 days, I sat with her and I saw her silently going away. And then she would just open her eyes and hold my hand and tell me, pray. Just that is just pray the Lord's Prayer. And I will start. But I saw her going away. And so she passed on. She was 52. I was 16. She died in my hands. And of course, it troubled everybody. But 6 months later, okay, she died 6 months after her retirement, and 2 years after her retirement or her death, her gratuity was paid after so much probate registry paperwork and all of that. And with that, my father told me how much the money was, because it was himself and my elder sister that processed, signed for all the paperwork and all of that. And then he said, they paid your mother's gratuity. And I said, how much? And he said, 15,000 naira. My head sparked. And I said, so that's all she had worked for. Wow. Imagine, I was in my final year in School of Nursing and I heard that kind of news. And so the thought came to me that, so if one work for anybody, this may be the kind of end that one will get. I mean, she never bought land, she didn't buy a car. There was nothing to show for those years of service. So subconsciously, I took a decision that I will not work too long for anybody, because I don't want to experience that same ending. So that got stuck in my subconscious. You know, somewhere there, it was there. The same year, I was in my final year, was when I was recruited into the Nigerian military. And the issue, it was supposed to be a very beautiful and promising career. We were recruited, we were being paid salary even while still in school. And so upon graduation, I resumed straight and started work. And then went for military training, did my midwifery and all of that. I invested 7 years of my life. By the time I was 25, the first question that came to me one day, we closed from work and they distributed retirement letters to all my senior officers, and we were in the headquarters. Nobody had a hint that that was coming. And as it was distributed, I saw my ogas running up and down, helter skelter. And I looked at myself and said, so if I stay here, the same thing will happen to me one day. I said, so if I invest 30 years of my life, of course I didn't use invest at that time. I said, if I spend 30 years of my life in this work, this will be the result. Honestly, it triggered my memory. And I said, no, this must not happen to me. So the first question I'm going to ask you tonight is, if you continue on the path that you are going on now in the next 5 years, just 5 years, or let's say the next 10 years, where exactly will it lead you to? 1. 2, is that your desired destination? It has gotten to a point where everybody, thank you, Haley. It has gotten to a point where every one of us must sit down and be intentional. What path are you choosing? And where is your destination? You'll need to get a pen and paper and write out, what picture can you see? At 60, will you be a liability or an asset? If you can ask yourself that question, that should guide you in deciding how much would you like to earn per month? What will your health be like? You know, two things will make you an asset. One is your health, and two is your wealth. You have to be intentional about both. You have to be intentional about both your health and your wealth. So the question is, who will you be? Where do you want to be? Who do you want to be in retirement? Honestly, if there is proper education, the very first day you start a job is the same day you should begin to have an exit plan. But we're not taught like that. A lot of us don't even think about retirement until it's about 2 or 3 years before retirement. And that's when it becomes an issue. You now start saying, okay, what will I do? What will I do? And when I get my gratuity, when you get your gratuity, what will you do with it? Have you thought about that? So, by the time I was 25, I realized that the journey will not take me to my desired destination. And so, I resigned at 25. If it is you, will you take that decision? You know, when something happened to you experientially, it helps your decision-making process. Because I didn't bother to discuss with anybody. I didn't even sit down to think of what else will I do. The only thing I was sure of is this path will not take me to my desired destination. That was it. That was all I was sure of. What else I will do, I don't know. I had no savings for 7 years. So the question is, if I stay for 30 years, will I have savings? When we start work, no, most times we're not well advised. There's no financial education. So nobody taught me that, okay, if you collect 100 naira, save 10, tithe 10. Nobody. Let your living expenses be 70. It's long after I've resigned that I started hearing things like that. So I wish we will all start teaching our children and words today. Financial intelligence. Yes, you have a job. Beautiful. What are you doing? You know, if we have enough information, if you have a job, yes, do the job very well, but have a plan B. What if the job stops today? What will you fall back on? What if you start saving even 10% of your salary now, and at the end of 2 or 3 years, you have sizable savings and you can start a part-time, business, a second stream of income? What if we are guided on things that we can do, that you can convert your active income? Your salary is an active income, that you can turn your active income into a capital. Imagine if you have a job that is paying you 250,000 every month, and you start saving 25,000 naira. In 1 year, you will have saved 300,000. By the end of the second year, you have saved 600,000. Do you know there are many businesses you can start today with 600? If you save for 5 years, you have 1.5 million. Honestly, we also know that in those 5 years, your active income will have been increasing. What if in 2 years you're able to save 1 million? What can you do with 1 million? When you have that savings, then you know your options and you can start something part-time. The era of waiting on only one stream of income is completely gone. So instead of changing your date of birth, doing all of those such things to keep yourself in a job for 35 years, you don't have to wait till 35 years. These days they will say either 35 years or 60 years of age. Some people, the 35 years come earlier. If I had remained in service, my 35 years will have been when I was 53, because I joined the job when I was 18, and that's when they will have started counting. So at 53, I will have retired, which is about 4 years ago. If I had waited through the 35, if I was not retired before the 35 years. So there's a need for each person to accept 100% responsibility for the life. So that story, shook me, made an impact in my life, changed the course of my thinking. My thinking pattern was completely changed. On the other hand, my father retired when he was 45 as an inspector of police, and he lived to be 90 and a half. Now, that second 45 years, he was collecting pension. But he only remembered to go and collect the pension the day he just want to have fun. Because he would just come back and tell me, oh, I went to collect my pension today. Because why? He did not even need the pension. He retired when he still had energy. So he started selling cement. He rose to become a very big cement distributor in Abeokuta. He went into real estate. He did transportation. So he did various businesses because he still had energy when he retired. So that, you know, was another observation from me. That's another experience. So I saw my father live to be 90 and a half, and he did not need money from us. In fact, if you bring money for him, he will say, no, he doesn't need it. He has prepared for his retirement. That's the second experience I had. So I learned through observation, and it helped me. So for my father, I observed his colleagues that waited to be 60, 65 before they retired. The majority of them died before him. Because in old age, you need money to take good care of your health. So he had money to take care of himself. Most of them don't. Most of them don't. So that made him live longer than them. So that's on the other hand. So I observed both sides. He could eat whatever he wanted because he could afford it. He could go for medicals. He could take good care of himself, and he was happy. He lived well. He lived the kind of life he wanted. The day he turned 90, he opened his 10th house because he retired early. So there's no law that says you must work and retire at 60 or 65 or 70. People in the academics keep fighting to retire at 70. And I said, what is left? Why must you still be on active income at 70? What will you rely on in latter years? So if you look around you, there's another thing that is happening when people retire. During their active years, many will build their dream houses in the village. It's disheartening because in retirement, they now relocate back to the village. And there is depression. There is loneliness. Now, the house is so big, it's not easy to manage or maintain. Now you're in a place where the people you related with in the last 30, 35 years are not there. So their mental health is affected. Will you now be waiting for people who have gone to the village to come back and chat with you? Or will you now start going out to sit down at the beer parlor? What will you do? Will you now just go and be a farmer? Something you've never done before. Which entrepreneurship will you start at 60 without prior experience? So if you look around you, you see that many people who retire back to the village, they don't live long because their brain has suddenly, become inactive. They just read newspaper, listen to news, and that's all. Nothing tangible to think about. And the brain does not function like that. You're supposed to keep challenging your brain. So don't withdraw from what you've been used to. Maybe you used to go and play lawn tennis, you used to play golf, now you've gone to the village, all those are not available. You don't even have the kind of socials that you used to have. That's another issue. And then there is no medical facility in the village. So most times, they are not able to do their regular medicals anymore. So all of this now shorten people's lifestyle. So if you look around at people that are retired around you, when I was still in service, I find my senior colleagues who have retired come back to beg their junior ones for small supply contracts. Why? The gratuity has not been paid. And by the time the gratuity is paid 2-3 years, they have become almost redundant. The pension is not regular. Today, this is 2025, is worse because a lot of organizations now do not even pay their staff pension. They pay gratuity, they don't pay pension. In a lot of organizations like the banks and other places, private organizations, there is even no retirement plan. There's no retirement plan. So, when you are going, in fact, many of their staff, like 60-70% in some organizations, are contract staff. They're not even owing them anything. Some will just give you maybe 3 months salary together as gratuity, and that's the end. So it means that most employers will not pay for your future. You will serve them with your time in your active years, because life is in 3 phases. There's 0 to 25 when you go to school or you go to learn a trade and you prepare for adulthood. And then there's 26 to 60, your 35 years that you are active, that you are earning, that you have the strength to do things for yourself. And then 60 just comes on you. And then there's 61 till death. And every day we pray for long life. And I said, when God answers that prayer and he allows you to live to be 80, 90, even 100, that means you have another 30 to 40 years in retirement. Who is going to pay the bill? Have you thought of that? Who is going to pay the bill? The children growing up now have their own challenges. And these days we find families scattered. 3 children, one in Canada, one in London, UK, one in US, another one in South Africa, one in Lagos. And just the 2 of you alone in the house. Everybody is trying to sort themselves. So every family now, most families now, they meet on WhatsApp. That's where they do family meeting. 2-3 years, they may not see each other. So the distance is there. In old age, who is going to be around you? So observing all of this puts the pressure on me that we need to start talking to each other about the future. You need to be able to predict what's going on economically. The whole world is having issues. Not one country is better than the other. Choose your hard, choose your challenges, and think of a solution. So don't wait until your strength is gone before you start building what can feed you. Because in old age, at 60, you're going to have a lot of time but no strength. When you are in your active years of 35 or 25 to 60, you have lots of energy, you are very busy, you don't have time. But in retirement, you have time but no energy. So think of it along that line. So, especially in this part of the world, we don't think about retirement. If you live abroad, they have always been living lonely lives. So they do contributory pension, 401k and all of that. Even though most of those ones too are failing. Most of those ones are also failing. So the earlier you plan your retirement, the better your future peace. The earlier. The way you use your body during your active years will determine if your body will serve you in later years. So don't abuse your body. Don't abuse your income. Don't abuse your body. Plan to build your wealth. So retirement isn't about slowing down. It's about freedom to do what you love to do. When we went on a boat cruise on the Arabian waters, we were about 18 from Nigeria. We were the only blacks there. But you will meet people who have retired and they saved all their lives to enjoy this boat cruise. Some people live on that boat for like a whole year, just following it to from one cruise to the other. They are trying to enjoy their retirement. We don't know. We don't enjoy holiday. We don't enjoy retirement. We don't enjoy anything. We work all through. And it is due to lack of planning. So retirement is about your freedom to live on your own terms. What lifestyle would you like to live? So you wake up when you choose, you give, to travel, to rest without asking anyone for permission. Now that's the lifestyle I've been living since I was 34. I'm 57 now. So for the past 23 years, I've been living like in retirement. I work at my own hours. I have understood the power of leverage. We will be looking at the different things you can do as you grow to prepare for your retirement. And this era that we are now, we are in the digital era. So no matter your age, you need to be open-minded to learn about how to earn digitally. You must learn how to earn digitally so that you can enjoy peace. You will have time for family. You can work from anywhere. You can sleep without the fear of end of the month. You can live with purpose, not pressure. You can live with purpose because every day there are bills to pay. I was still discussing with a friend today and I was saying, sometimes people build their own houses, they are living in their own houses, but they did not build cash flow. So you find many landlords who are envious of the tenant who can fuel his generator when they cannot. There's something called cash flow. So it's not enough for you to just make money during your active years and then go build one big house somewhere, but you don't have daily income. Yet your bills comes every day. So there has to be an investment or a business that gives you income. That's what we call the residual income. The passive income, the residual income. There's a need for you to have that. So you either create a system that pays you or you will keep working for one that does not pay you. If you don't, work towards your own dream, you'll be fulfilling somebody else's dream. So at Retirement Income TV, we want to open your eyes to a world where you can earn from your mind, not from your muscles. There's a need for us as Black to shift our energy focus from hard work to smart work. Because as you grow, the energy level starts reducing. What can you do with your mental strength? What are the platforms that gives you opportunity to leverage other people's time, energy, money? You must understand the power of leverage. Yes, you have a job. I'm not saying resign, no. But we're saying understand leverage, understand the value of your time. Your time is a capital. Many of us waste time. Many of us spend time. Meanwhile, you can invest time. Imagine if you have a full-time job that you're doing 8 hours a day, and then you can create another 2 hours a day to build a part-time income. Then you're good. The consistency, because if you travel out of Nigeria, many people do 2-3 jobs outside Nigeria. They quickly run to do one early in the morning, 6 to 8. The major one is 9 to 5. When they close, they will still go and do another one, another 2 or 3 hours in the evening. But in Nigeria, we want to just do one job and then sit down and be complaining. The government is not good. My father did not do this. No. Don't bother your head with that. There are many things you can begin to do with 1 hour a day. Many things. So, the first thing is to retrieve your time. Stop wasting time. Redeem your time. Sit down. How do you spend a day? A day is 24 hours. What do you do? Everybody has 24 hours. Those who have more money are the people that have understood the power of leverage. They value their time. They don't waste time. So that's the first thing we need to do. Stop wasting time. So I'll challenge you today. If you are tired of the endless hustle, if you want to build a future where your money works while you rest, if you want to taste real freedom, then type freedom in the DM of this video and we will get in touch with you, because as we grow we will know the options available. There's a book I love. I've had about 3 or 4 copies of it. This book, The Multiple Streams of Income by Robert G. Allen. I read it and I said, wow, there are many things that everybody can do. So having your job is one, but learning to convert that your salary, save a part of it and turn it into a capital, that's what many people don't do. The few that does it don't understand the difference between being self-employed and being a business owner. There's a difference. You are self-employed when you are still selling time as a professional. So maybe you're a fashion designer, you are a plumber, a pilot, you are trading time for money. You are an engineer, you're a medical doctor who works in the general hospital in the morning and runs his private clinic in the evening. You are an employee and a self-employed. You are still trading time for money. That's not a business. Any enterprise you set up that requires you to function means you are trading time for money. So it's advisable that you cross to become a business owner and an investor, where you're able to build a residual income or a passive income. So we're going to be talking more about your options. But the first thing that we all need to do today is write down how much would you like to earn per month in retirement. That's the cocoa of this. How much would you like to earn per month in retirement? What age have you set for yourself as your retirement age? I don't know your age now, but imagine that you're 40 now and you like to retire at 50. That means you have 10 years. So the question is, in the next 10 years, how much would you like to be earning a month? 1 million, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, or even 100 million a month. Open your mind. It's possible. Because it's when you set that income goal that you can now sit down and look at the options. What are the options that can give you this kind of income per month? There's no point struggling or complaining. No. It's about being decisive. What do you want? So what are those things you can do that can give you 5 million naira a month? How much will you need to start it? By the time you can answer all those questions, you will know the steps. You will know the steps to take. So for me and you, we're starting a new channel, a new path today. We're starting a new path today. So, what do you want? Which location would you like to live in? What kind of a house? What kind of a legacy would you like to leave for your children? How well do you want to live in old age? All of these are questions that we must answer and we must take responsibility for. How healthy would you like to be? The habits you start and practice today will determine the end result that you will get, both for your health and for your wealth. Thank you for joining me tonight. We will be having more of this conversation on this channel. Please share this with your friends, like and subscribe to the Retirement Income TV as we come together to learn from each other to create your desired future. I look forward to seeing you again and hearing from you as we look at the available options in the 21st century. We're in 2025. Some businesses used to thrive 5, 10 years ago, but they are dead now. But new industries have opened. Thank you, Haley. This is a training everyone should be in. Yes, ma'am. So it's important that we look at all these areas together, and then you can prayerfully choose one. You know, we're very spiritual in this part of the world. So look inside you. Who are you? What are those things that will excite you? What are you passionate about? And how can you profit from all of this? What are the needs that you can meet? What are the values that you can bring to the marketplace? We will be looking at all of that together, even as we learn from the masters in the field. Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you in our next episode. This is Coach F.O. I am an executive business, wellness, and life coach. I look forward to seeing you again and hearing from you. Have a great evening, and God bless.